Greetings, people of the internet. This is Scott with Serkworks Art Labs, welcoming you once again to the underground laboratory where we create robots, alien zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. Did you hear me say zombies? Do you like zombies? Good, you're in luck, because today I am going to talk about zombies. Well, I'm sort of going to talk about zombies, but I'm sort of not going to talk about zombies because once again, we are going to use the technology developed right here in Serkworks Laboratories, the paralleloscope, the invention that makes it possible to view parallel universes, alternate realities, in which I am not confined to this underground laboratory building weapons of mass hysteria. No, I'm just a mild-mannered cartoonist, just an average type guy, working away at his home studio, developing a comic book called Young and the Dead. It's been a while since we checked in this alternate reality, but we're going to do so today. So, without any further ado, let's bring over the paralleloscope, and we're going to tune in, and we're going to see what I'm up to in this alternate reality. Excited, just super stoked to be back here once again, doing these updates. I was going to say beyond 100 days of making comics, which we haven't really done that in a while. I think we did one just Young and the Dead update post beyond 100 days of making comics, which was post 100 days of making comics. If you've been following me for a while, then you probably know what I'm talking about. If you're new, then you probably don't know what I'm talking about. So I won't get into all that, but there's a bunch of videos chronicling my creation of my comic book, issue 3 of Young and the Dead. We ran into some roadblocks along the way. I lost pretty much all my files. There was a period where my fate was unknown. I didn't know what I was going to do, and then I was able to get those files back. Most of them saved, I think there was 4.5 files. Some were sort of salvageable, some of them not. Anyway, but I did get those back as, this is sort of a rundown from my previous update, the one I did before, but that was a while ago. It's been so long. And you guys probably think I've been being real lazy. Unless you've been watching, follow me, then you know I've been working on some other stuff. And that wasn't because I was just forgetting about the comic or whatever, but my goal was my second goal after I missed the first goal because of the disasters that happened, was to get the comic book done for Phoenix Comic Con, which is coming up in a couple months. So because of that, I had only a little bit left to do on the comic book. Or so I thought. One of those things I had to do was the lettering, and I always forget how long lettering takes. It takes a lot longer than you think. I'm just thinking, I just throw some letters up there, but there's a lot to it, and I'm going to do a demo kind of showing how I letter things and give some lettering tips and things like that, because I think that's the one thing a lot of people just don't think about when they're doing comics, and bad lettering can really destroy beautiful artwork. So might be a good idea to check that out when I get that up. So hopefully that'll be coming out soon. But anyway, so I kind of decided, and I mentioned this in some of the other shows I'm on, the Artcasters and everything, but I just decided to hold off just for a little bit because there was some more pressing matters to get to, knowing that the deadline wasn't going to be coming up for a couple months. But anyway, good news. The good news is I am done with the comic book. It's pretty much, I would say, when I say done, let's say 99% done. I did all the lettering. It's all together. I had everything corrected from my editor/girlfriend who writes for a living. So she's very, very meticulous when it comes to grammar and things like that. So she looked over the script and everything, but sometimes after I get the script back and it's perfect and she makes all her corrections, when I'm entering the lettering, because it's all cut and paste, and sometimes you're shifting things around and sometimes a word will get dropped off or something. So I sent back everything together, just print out copies of the book to her, and she's going to look it over and then get back to me and if there are any minor things. But everything's pretty much ready to go. So yeah, I'm just it's awesome. This is the third issue, but it seemed like this one took so long, and they all take so long. I'm going to see if I can try to sort of rectify that. But again, I have all these other things that I want to do besides the comics, and of course the comics isn't a big money maker. That's more like the thing that drives you, the passion that's kind of but it's not really the thing that pays the bill. So I've got other things to do. Anyway, that convention's coming up, so I've got a lot of prints and things like that to design. But I've sort of got a plan. I'll mention that in a little bit. But first, I wanted to talk about the 100s. It's been a while. That was what started kind of this whole thing. Not necessarily my comic, but this third issue and doing this whole thing. But it's so cool how it just continues on. It doesn't stop. You know, you think it's going to slow down, and now there's like this resurgence again. It kind of happens like that all the time. I'm always worried that, you know, people go through their 100 days and it'll just kind of fade away, but it hasn't. So I mean, and you know, I'm not even the creator of this. That's Kevin Cross. He's the one that created this whole thing. So I mean, he's got to be even more excited that this thing just keeps going and going and building, and hopefully it'll get even bigger, because it kind of stays steady, but it keeps going. But hopefully it'll just, you know, keep continuing to and blow up and everything. But it's so cool, and what's really awesome is that a lot of the people that completed it or started doing it and for whatever reasons weren't able to, you know, complete it. And obviously I know what that's about, dealing with what I did. Even though I did complete the 100 days, everything came afterwards, all my problems and issues. But a lot of those people are returning to do it again for either a second time or starting over, and just like renewed interest in the whole thing and getting their comics. So I'm trying to keep up with as many people as I can. Still a lot, you know, still pretty busy with everything else that's going on. I've got the day job right now too. So creative day job. So that's, you know, I'm still drawing every day and everything. And that's like, I'm real bad about like keeping a sketchbook, but then I'm thinking to myself, you know, my day job is like my sketchbook, because I'm drawing there all the time. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just want to give shout outs to a lot of people that are doing the 100s. If I leave anyone out, please let me know. But Mike Emirates is back again. He did his whole 100s, and he's taken a whole other perspective. I always say nother, and nother is not a word, but I'm not the only one. A lot of people say nother, but a whole other perspective, and really come back with a positive attitude. And he's like crushing it, and I'm digging everything that he's putting out there. And man, his artwork is just like, he'll do stuff that it seems like, you know, his style kind of, it's almost chameleon-like, at least to me. Like, I'll see something he does, and a lot of times I can tell it's him, but it's just different. Like, he did this comic book poster, it just blew me away. It was kind of a throwback to almost like, I don't know, it was very, I don't know, it's I want to say old Marvel or whatever, like old Gold, not Gold Key, because those were like the painted covers and everything. But I don't know how to describe it. But if you follow him, or if you've seen this thing, but it reminded me of like sort of paranormal type, almost like that one that I was going to say the thing that Mike Magnolia was doing. BDRP, is that what it was called? I don't know, I don't remember, or maybe that was something else. But anyway, I don't know, it was really cool. And then he'll come out with something else. But yeah, I'm really digging the stuff he's doing, and he's getting ready to set up a shop and start selling his stuff. So I wish him best of luck, because I mean, his stuff is, I mean, only following him for so long, it's almost like I didn't know what he was really capable of, and he's showing me some really cool stuff. So Mike, you do an awesome job. I dig your stuff. Marshall Couture is back, aka Plex. He was one of the original. I think he started before me. I was probably like the third or maybe fourth person into the 100 Days of Making Comics challenge. But Marshall's back, doing awesome stuff as usual. He's got this really cool concept for a story. Hopefully I get the number right, but I think it's called 12 Stories. And it's kind of got that double meaning where it's 12 stories because it takes place in like a apartment complex, and I believe it's 12 stories, but there's also 12 stories, and so that's just a cool concept. So I'm looking forward to see what's coming out with that. Who else? Yanimal, he kind of dropped off for a little bit, and I didn't know he was updating, but it looks like he's back again, so I'm gonna have to start watching his stuff again. So that's one I got to catch up on. Chris McQuinlan, he was back. I think he's doing sort of what Gazbot does, where he's doing like weekly updates and things like that, but awesome artist. His stuff is really cool. I always like dig his style. I mean, he's very like cartoony, and that's the kind of stuff I like. I mean I like all kinds of different styles, but that really that's something that gets to me personally. I like the cartoony stuff. Let's see, Peter Palmiotti. I don't know if he's doing the 100s, but he's vlogging again. He's back online, and he was kind of out of missing in action for a while, but he's back and putting out videos, and it's awesome to see Peter again. J. Allen Ratz. She did like the 100 days of making comics and everything, and mostly like vlogging, but now she's putting out. She's starting her YouTube channel, and she's putting out videos, which is awesome. I mean, I've always kind of stated that, if you're going to do this, if you can, try to do the videos, because I think that's really what kind of reaches the biggest audience. So awesome to see Jay Allen doing videos, and hopefully she'll keep it up and everything. Very cool stuff. So all the people doing this, if I missed you, just don't be shy. Just send me a comment. Let me know, and I will definitely mention you and check your stuff out, because I want to give props to everyone that's doing this challenge. And hopefully, if you're considering doing it, just join in and give it a shot, because it's awesome, and it's done like just crazy things for me, and just being able to get here and talk to people on YouTube and doing all that kind of stuff. Both from just creative standpoint and just allowing me to be a little more personal and get out and talk in front of people and stuff like that. So awesome stuff, everyone who's doing the 100 days. Gazbot is still updating and just ran a Kickstarter and funded his book. So I think this is the first time we've had somebody who like competed the challenge. No, wait. I take that back, because Ox, I forgot to mention Ox, who also ran a Kickstarter, and I've contributed to both of them, so I'm looking forward to getting those books. But if you follow Noah Bass, aka Ox, he did the 100 days and also, putting out tons of stuff. I mean, I think this is like his 5th book. He's putting out a trade now. So I was gonna say, Gaz, this might be the first thing, but I was off by a long shot, because I think Ox has him up by like 4, but still, anyway. But yeah, so Gaz successfully funded his Kickstarter, which is awesome, and that's what kind of got me thinking, I think I want to run a Kickstarter for my book. And I'd always been saying to myself, I don't know, I think I'm going to wait until I get all the issues done and then put out a trade. And partially because I just didn't think I had the audience for it. I know I've got people that follow me, and I appreciate everyone that interacts with me, and I don't know, there's a decent amount of people, but you always hear these figures like, well, only like 10%, if you're lucky, of the people who follow you will actually contribute to your Kickstarter. And I'm doing the math in my head. I'm saying, well, there's no way I can like fund anything. But I don't know. I think Gaz has a similar size audience as me, and he pretty much crushed it. And he didn't even. I think it kind of caught him off guard. So not to say that if I do a Kickstarter, it's going to be as successful as his. You don't know what the different circumstances are, but I'd like to kind of pick his brain. So I think actually, if you guys are familiar with the Artcasters, the show I do with Jeff Lafferty and Kevin Cross, it's usually every Wednesday, pretty much all the time, every Wednesday at. Depending on daylight savings time and everything, but it's usually around 9 p.m. Pacific time, at least right now. But if you guys know, Kevin is actually moving temporarily to California for about 6 months, so he's going to be traveling. I don't really like to do the show with just 2 people. I think 3 is kind of that magic number. And if something comes up where one of us last minute is sick and everything, obviously we'll carry on and do that. And I think Jeff and Kevin would agree with that. So last time Kevin was out, we brought Ox on to talk about his Kickstarter, and that was really informative. So, but now Jeff Lafferty has run a successful Kickstarter, and so I thought, well, why not bring Gazbot on to talk about his experience with his Kickstarter, because I really want to pick his brain, because I think, like I said, I think we have similar audiences, both in the 100s and everything, both doing comics. I don't know. I think there's some similarities there. So I just want to see, I want to find out, some of his experience, because you watch YouTube videos on Kickstarter, and there's a bunch of Kickstarter tips and things like that, and it's all, you know, it's all great information, but a lot of it is geared, I think, more towards bigger players and people that are out to raise thousands and thousands of dollars, which, I mean, Gazbot did raise, I think he, somewhere in the, I could be wrong, I could be off, but I think somewhere in the area of $2,500, which is good. And if I got something like that, I would be totally stoked, because, you know, for me, I want us to do the same thing where I kind of very modest goal, but hope, you know, hope we'll see if it blows up. But, you know, even if it doesn't, that's okay, because, I mean, to be honest, I was probably going to produce it myself anyway. So, you know, and I think if it is successful, and if people are, you know, if people, if the audience is there and I don't like realize it and people really are interested in the book, I think that's going to recharge me and get me more stoked. And hopefully, you know, if it does fund higher than I'm expecting, maybe even line the pockets a little more so I could go on and do, you know, and invest the time in making the other book happen. Because as anyone knows, I mean, that's the hard part. It takes up so much time, and there's really usually not a whole lot of payoff in comics. So I'm gonna give it a shot, and I wanna get Gazbot on the show and talk to him about that. So that's kind of what's going on. Yeah, that's what I was explaining. So hopefully, if everything goes well, I'll be back doing, you know, after the convention. You know, that's pretty the only major convention I'm going to do this year. I'm still on the fence about my path forward as far as conventions go, as far as the typical comic book convention. But so after that's done, then I'm going to focus, hopefully focus more on the next issue of the comic book. And I say this every time, but maybe just sit down for a month or so, or however long it takes, and just delve into Manga Studio and try to see if I can do this thing digitally, because I think that's one of the things that's going to help this thing come out faster, because we're about I think so the storyline is going to go at the very least 5 issues, probably 6, just knowing how much more story I have to tell. We finished the 3rd issue, so this is kind of a good middle point. So anyway, yeah. That's what's going on. That's kind of the update. So, and again, let's see. Oh, so yeah, some other things I want to talk about. Another thing, you guys, if you follow me, you guys have seen this, but one of the reasons why I mentioned some other priorities that I kind of shifted, and that's why I took a little break from Young and the Dead, knowing that I was going to come back to it to finish it for the deadline. But something that was really fun to do, and I just want to mention it because I encourage anyone to like maybe take part in these challenges, because it was really cool. I did the 100 day, not 100, I did the March of Robots. So 31 robots in 31 days. Let's see, can you see those? Yeah. So I did all these kind of blueprint designs, and if you've watching my videos, you've seen me do these. I've sped them up, and I'm doing little videos like that for all these things. But now I got like these 31 drawings, and it's just cool to have. So I'll bring these with me. Probably in lieu of my fan art sketches that I usually bring, which, you know, they sell decent and everything, but I don't know, I'm just kind of on this kick where I just want to try my hand at just kind of doing all original stuff. So this will probably be the first convention I go to where I'm not even original artwork, because I stopped selling any kind of parody or fan art prints, and, you know, that's a whole other discussion, as we talked about before, not another. That's a whole other discussion about fan art and everything, and I don't really want to make judgments. Me personally, I kind of want to do my original stuff, and that's just me. But so I'm going to bring these with me to the convention, and, you know, I'm curious to see how that goes. I mean, this, like I said, this is kind of going to be the test. But if now that the comic book's wrapped up, one thing that I always do, and I don't know if I show this one as much, I used to do you know what? I didn't even do my spill in the beginning of this thing, or what Young and the Dead is. So if you haven't, and I probably should have done it, I used to do it all the time, and it kind of got repetitive. But if you're new to this, because I haven't done it so long, so my comic book, why did I do this in the beginning? My comic book, Young and the Dead, it's a kids versus zombie story. So it's like Goonies meets Night of the Living Dead, and it's my it's my ode or homage to all the like kid-centric adventure films of the 80s, like Goonies, Monster Squad, Explorers, Cloak and Dagger, all those things. So it's like that, but with zombies. So that's what my book's about, if you're interested. But when I do release a book, I got the standard copy, kind of like you would see at a typical comic book convention or store or whatever. But I do these mini comic versions, and these I'm super proud of, because these are like hand done, and like if you look at this one, this is the first issue, and it's all like die cut, not die cut, it's all hand cut to look like it's die cut. But it's all put together by hand and everything, so it really has that personal touch. So I did this one for the first issue. I think this one was limited to 150 issues. And because first issues usually sell quite a bit more, and as you go on, they don't sell as much. So the second one I did, I think I limited this to like 50. So I want to do a third one too. But I'm thinking, well, what do I do? So in the first one, the theme of this is kind of, you've got the kids, they're kind of up against the wall. I don't know, do I have the... Yeah, so this is the original artwork for the front cover. Why can't I... It's like at a weird angle where I can't really get in the shot. Where's that? Okay. So that's the first cover where the kids are kind of backed into a corner with the zombies coming in and everything. So I did like the do not enter tape and everything, and the zombie hands that kind of open up and everything. Now with the second issue, they're in the treehouse, and there's kind of like a trap door that enters the treehouse. You see keep out, and there's a noose that plays into the story. If you've read it, or if you haven't, maybe check out the Kickstarter when it's out, or online. You can purchase the books when they're available online. But so it's got the noose kind of wrapping it. These doors kind of open up to reveal the inside cover, because this is sort of like a dust cover. This brown one, and inside there's a. Oh, I could pull it out. You can kind of see. Just sort of remove that noose, and then. You've got that, but then you can also open this up and it reveals the kids kind of looking out. So I was thinking, well, what am I going to do for the third issue? I've got to kind of come up with a clever thing to do for the mini comic. This is the cover for the third issue. I've got all the kids kind of here. There we go. On the bike. It's weird because just the angle that I'm holding this at, I can't see them like the little monitor thing on my camera. So if I'm holding it up, I can't see what I'm showing, but I think it's in frame. But anyway, so it's the kids in the garage. So there's a scene where they're getting ready to go out and do battle with zombies and everything, and the garage kind of opens up, and you see them kind of, and they're kind of revealed. So originally I was thinking, well, maybe make a garage door. I couldn't figure out how to make it go up and down, and it's just kind of a weird perspective the way it was. And then I was thinking, well, I already kind of had a door here with the trap door, so what should I do? So I came up with, I think it's a cool idea. So what I'm going to do is, if you look here, this is my character Mitch right here. If you look on the top of his head, he's got this welding mask. So basically what's happening in this scene are the kids are in this garage, so they're just taking everything that they can find in this garage and kind of, taking it and putting it together and kind of arming themselves to go out and do battle. So, and that's one thing, my dad had one of those welding masks, and I always put it on, like I'm Darth Vader and all this stuff. So I always thought that was kind of cool, so I thought it would be cool as protection against zombies. So what I think I'm going to do is for, imagine this in the mini comic size, but do like the front, just that big welding mask with the kind of the I don't know what you call that, just the window or just the whatever the opening that you look out of, and maybe put some like cellophane in there, some maybe red or green cellophane, and you would see through, and it's just right at the right angle where you kind of see most of the kids' faces here. So imagine that. So I think that's what I'm going to do for that. So, and when I do that, I'll probably do like a video showing me put it together, because it's really involved, and it's, I mean, these are the ones, if you really want to show your love, these are the ones to get, because this really has my blood, sweat, and tears into them. But anyway, so that's the idea for that. I'll do a video on that when it's about ready to go. But yeah, this is a long one, which is cool because I've been doing all these really short form videos, and I've been like, oh man, I gotta go get back to doing some longer form videos. So I know these are for everyone. Not everyone's gonna stick through, and not everyone's gonna care. But for those of you people that have been waiting, and I want to do some long form, more like tutorial videos. Like I said, I've got a I've got one that I'm going to do. I just designed an exclusive print for Phoenix Comic Con. It got okayed, so it's going to be one of their exclusive prints, which is cool. I'm really happy with how that turned out. And I am going to show the process on that coming up soon when I get time to edit all that stuff. And then I've got I recorded some of me working on the lettering for the comic book, and then I'll probably do another one with me doing the mini comic version. So a lot of cool stuff coming up, not to mention once again this Kickstarter, and I'm kind of like, it's coming up fast because I want to launch it next month. I'm teaching a class this weekend that's I'm concentrating on some of that because I haven't taught a lot. So if you watch the last Artcasters, you kind of see Kevin laying some reality on me on what it's like to teach teens, and I'm like, oh, now I don't know of it. But anyway, so I'm going to do that. Once that's over with, then I'm going to be really focusing on the Kickstarter, and so check out the next Artcasters. I think it's going to be on my channel again, even though the last one wasn't. We usually rotate between Kevin, Jeff, and myself. But we'll probably do it on my channel and get Gazbot on, talk to him, talk Kickstarter, and hopefully I'll get it out there. And you know, if you're watching this now while it's going, then yeah, check it out. You might dig it, because I really dig it. If you're into this kind of thing, if you're into zombies, or if you're just into kids fighting or going on adventures or whatever, you'll probably dig it. So yeah. I don't know what else to say. It's like it's been like a while, but I probably should wrap it up. So I'm gonna wrap it up, and I'll see you guys later. I gotta get back to work. Wow, that's great information. Now we know what's going on with Young and the Dead. I guess it's been a while since we checked in, but we won't leave you hanging for much longer. We're gonna keep updating you more frequently, hopefully. So if you want more updates and you aren't already subscribed, you should probably do that, and also leave comments if you have any questions. Like, subscribe, do all that cool stuff, and we will see you guys later in the art lab. And yeah, that is all.